So we're looking at a new book this year called How Learning Works. Some of you may be familiar with this book, and you definitely would be familiar, at least one of the authors. So the objective for our session is by the end of the session, active participants, you guys, will be able to describe the different types of prior knowledge, recognize how prior knowledge can affect learning, and develop strategies to overcome barriers caused by prior knowledge. So what is learning? I know some of us have done an exercise similar to this in the beginning of the year with Dr. Wilson. So if you guys don't mind, if you can just kind of, with your partner, for a couple seconds, talk about what your definition of learning it would be in one sentence.
Like pair share?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey guys,
Poor Sarah.
we're gonna do group what? Group 4 apparently. 5.
5 share.
Yeah, 5 share. What's learning?
Acquisition and effects. I don't know.
Like sending information, transmission.
What's
that? Something with transmitting.
Yeah, like transmission.
Let's use
of
long words
information.
to make it sound like we. Yeah.
Transmission.
Acquisition and transmission of information. And implementation. Yeah, lots
I
of
like all
shuns.
these shuns.
Yeah.
Lots of shuns.
Looks like the room is kind of quieting down. Does anybody want to share what they came up with? Everybody at once.
We said acquisition, transmission, and implementation of information.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of covers a lot of different aspects of it.
You
Anybody
said
else?
the active, what Greg said. Active. No, we didn't.
Okay. What was your definition?
The active acquisition of knowledge or improvement of it.
All right. Anybody else want to share their definition of learning?
I think you could tack passive onto that definition as well, because you don't have to actively be seeking learning, you can just pick stuff up and you don't even realize it.
Absolutely. Okay. Good thoughts. So in the book, they describe it as a process that involves change that unfolds over time and is a result of how students interpret and respond to their experiences. I thought that was a nice way to define it. They're covering a lot of different aspects. They're describing it as a process, because it is a process. It's not a certain instant. It's not, it's continuous. And it unfolds over time. There's certain things that you may learn at one point in time, but not completely understanding, and over time, things will become more clear. And it is a result of what you experience, because no matter how you're, giving a type of lecture, whether you do a think, pair, share, whether you model in the clinic, or etc., it's how you experience, how you feel that experience affected you, that you learn from it. So, the gentleman on the right, most of us, I think, have met or know of. He was here earlier this summer giving us a lecture. You guys remember him?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was here for a couple hours and talked to us. And he's one of the authors of this book. I didn't put the other people, but I know that, so I just wanted you guys to kind of relate this book to somebody here. And in this book, they'll talk about 7 principles of learning, and how these principles can affect learning, or how they apply to learning. We're going to go over the first principle here. And I'm going to start off with this picture over here. How many of you, just a show of hands, have experienced something similar to this, whether it's in the sink or a bathroom or bathtub? Okay, all right. So just kind of with your partner, I'd like you to go over the steps that you would take. So step 1, whatever that might be, step 2, step 3, step 4, and share your thoughts about what steps you would take to accomplish that. So another thing, pair share.
So what does the objective of our tech?
Clean.
Clean
A
dish.
dish.
Okay.
Goal.
Where do we start?
Start with the dirty dish. And you bring it to the right side, where you like clean it out.
Get the chunk off,
Yeah. Scrub it with the sponge.
and then you can move it to the other side.
Just like rinse it off. Although I've always seen it like a 3-sink type thing. I've only ever seen it like in an
Maybe like
industrial
soap or
sink,
something?
where it's like the first one is like you rinse it out, so it's like there's not like gunk, and then the second one's like the soapy water, and the third one's the clear. So like the middle one's like not as dirty as this one, but I don't, yeah. Yeah, I don't, does anyone like do this? I don't do this. Maybe it saves water. I don't know. I don't really know like the objective.
See that stopper off to the top left
Black.
corner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not in the sink. So the fact that there's water in the sink tells
Right.
me you've got a clog.
That's what I think too. I saw this. It was really interesting that you guys saw it this way because I saw it as
It's
a
like a
clogged
metal
sink,
grate, you pull it
but you
out.
guys saw it as a clean, dirty dishes to the left.
Oh my god, that's totally my
We look at the
personality.
same thing and we're just like we have like two different reactions to it. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh, that's so. You guys didn't see that at all?
No,
This is how you clean your
my first impression is that's a clogged sink.
Flowing. But maybe they have.
What did you see, Neil?
I saw. Well, I don't see any dishes to wash. That white thing up there? Yep.
The color of the water on the right also.
Could have scared.
Yeah, that's a clog. It struck me as a clogged sink. Which is why I think Susie was also asking if we've seen it in a bathtub and stuff like that.
Because you're not gonna wash dishes.
So changing our approach a little bit. What do you do now that you have a clogged sink?
Then I need to call someone because I don't have the knowledge to unclog the sink.
I'm going for plunger, Drano.
I can pour Drano in the sink,
Apparently
but
Drano-
whenever that fails, that's when I'm
Apparently
like,
Drano is bad. That's what my friend tells me. He's a plumber.
Let's get back to what our thoughts were.
I'd YouTube it.
normally I would have said like, needed help. Now I don't know what I'm gonna do.
So,
Yeah, I called whoever decided that they'd reach in there and pull it out.
They did. Using the level.
your partner, how many of you found that your partner and yourself had different views or maybe would take different steps to approach this? Okay. Did any one of you find maybe your partner to have more experience with this kind of thing or? Yes, okay.
Completely different view.
All right. In what ways were what your partner and you, how you approached it different? Anybody would like to share?
I had a plan of, I don't know if we're like clogged here, if we're just doing dishes, but I would have a plan of just putting on like gloves and like taking out the water and spraying it, and Ariel would have just walked away. So that's how we would have approached it.
I can totally see Ariel being nope, not
Nope.
today.
Anybody else?
We had two different, also points of view, whether we were washing dishes or whether it was actually a clogged sink altogether.
Really
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
So when we were choosing this slide, I debated whether to actually put clogged sink on there or not, and I thought it was intuitive, but that kind of proves our point.
Yep, very interesting. Anybody else have any thoughts or?
This is why my plumber's on speaker.
Right. I would just call my husband. All right. Okay, so principle one is how your prior knowledge can affect your learning. And so a lot of things can affect your learning, but prior knowledge is something that we all come with when we come into a classroom, when we're in clinic, whenever we're rounding. We don't come with a blank slate. We always, have things that we've been taught or things that we've experienced in our past that are going to be different from person to person, and those things affect how we learn. And we'll talk about how things can help, how prior knowledge can help our learning and how prior knowledge can hinder our learning based on these experiences. Now, how do you determine one's prior knowledge? How can you if you're, like, let's say here, we wanted to kind of figure out what you guys knew about that picture that we just put up. And we had different views of, some people thought it was a clock think, some people thought it was somebody doing dishes. How do we assess somebody's prior knowledge so that we can figure out where to go from here? Attention, what did you say?
Discussion.
Discussion, okay.
Test.
Okay, so like a pre-assessment type of thing? Okay. How have you seen that being done in the actual situation?
Right, I guess I'm thinking about like maybe just like, what, turning point?
Turning point, okay. Or like poll everywhere, sure, that's used very frequently in a lecture type of setting. How else do we assess prior knowledge in learning in teaching environment?
You just ask, have you ever seen somebody like this, or have you ever?
Sure, can ask.
Probing, part of the 5 micro skills.
Excellent. So we do that a lot when,
Sorry.
where do we do that a lot?
Like precepting.
Right, okay.
Teaching environments.
Precepting and the inpatient too, right? We do a lot of coding. Any other thoughts of how we can determine prior knowledge? This side of the room has been kind of active. Anybody from this side of the room?
I just assume people know what I'm talking about. And then if they don't, I'm real upset.
Okay. Well, that's
You're really
yeah.
mean right now.
Yeah.
Really mean.
I just assume that that's a form of pre-assessment.
Such an effective one.
I think so.
Well, but that happens a lot, right? So sometimes, I know Dr. Wilson talked about in the beginning of the year how he was giving a lecture. As soon as he started giving a lecture, he realized that maybe he had to slow down and change how he approached his lecture because the knowledge of his learners were not at the level that he had thought they would be. So sometimes you do have to kind of reassess the situation right on the spot. Hopefully not. Hopefully you do have some sort of prior assessment or are able to do a pre-assessment during, right before you start your lecture so that you could assess where your learners are at and take your teaching points from there. But okay. So you want to kind of talk about a couple of these things. You want to ask your colleagues what concepts and skills did they seem to master? What do they struggle with? What misconceptions do they have? Some ways we do this as well in residency is, for example, the in-training exam, right? So we give them an in-training exam, and then that kind of gives us an idea of where learners might struggle. Some might struggle, for example, in the GU exam or GU aspect, or others might have some difficulties with OB and women's health. So the in-training exam helps us in the residency program determine what might be weaknesses of a certain learner and what things we need to work on. In the clinical setting, for example, some residency programs will do like a mini OSCE at the beginning of residency, and that will help them see where their learners are at in terms of their history taking skills, their physical exam skills, and their assessment and plan skills. And that also helps them decide what things they need to work on and who they may need to watch a little bit closer so that they can make sure they're achieving their goals in the program. And using an assessment, so we talked about like a poll everywhere or a training point type of situation where you